So we'll start with the rapid fire round.
Okay.
If there's any question you don't want to answer, you can also say pass.
All right.
The first one is, at what age do you want to retire?
Yesterday, does that count?
What's your favorite mobile app?
I am a big runner, so I gotta say Strava, as addictive as it is.
How long does it take you to get ready in the mornings?
I work from home, so tragically not that long.
Most embarrassing moment of your life?
Pass.
Mountains or beaches?
I am a mountain girl, ski or trail running.
What's the most useful mobile feature you can't live without?
So going back to being a runner, it's definitely using my wearables and being able to track my exercise through my mobile apps.
Favorite color?
Black.
What time of day are you most inspired?
Mid-afternoon, when I get my caffeine and it kicks in and I'm ready for the second half.
How many hours of sleep can you survive on?
I have to have a full night's sleep or I'm ugly.
Fill in the blank. An upcoming marketing trend is blank.
Pass.
The city in which the best kiss of your life happened.
Cleveland, Ohio, where I met my husband.
Pick one, Android or Apple.
Apple.
The biggest mistake of your career.
As a woman, I sometimes didn't take opportunities because I didn't see people like myself in those roles. So I wish I would have been bolder.
How do you relax?
I like to exercise or just zone out on the web.
How many cups of coffee do you drink per day?
0. I'm a tea drinker.
A habit of yours that you hate.
Pass.
The most valuable skill you've learned in life.
People skills.
Cities or countrysides?
I like a little bit of both. I'm a city mouse and a country mouse.
All right, and the last one is your favorite Netflix show.
Pass.
Do you want to say an Amazon show or any show?
I know, I like them all. I'm trying to think what I'm into right now.
Okay, you can.
I've been watching Billions a lot.
All right, so the longer questions, these you can answer with as much ease and time as you like.
Okay.
So no rush in these. How does Augment Therapy software help therapists accumulate and analyze objective data? Can you provide some examples of the insights this data can provide?
Augment Therapy is an augmented reality healthcare company. And basically what we do is creating augmented reality gamified experiences for physical therapy, occupational therapy. So one of the use cases that we have is children that are in cancer floors at hospitals. They have to move. It's great for their health and well-being, but because of infection control, their bodies aren't acclimated well. It's hard for them to get out of the room to get that exercise. You couple that with the lack of caregivers due to the pandemic, and these children have been suffering. So what we do is create a gamified solution that uses an Apple device in their room, projects on TV. They see themselves, they see digital images, they're grabbing for things, they're running through things, and they think they're playing a game, so they're more willing to and engaged in their therapy experience. But for the therapist, what they're getting is objective data. Prior to that, it's very subjective. They'd see range of motion and think, maybe that's 47 degrees. But in reality, it's 53, and that patient has had improvement. So they can see how much their patient has done the exercises and how they're improving.
So can you tell us about a recent innovation or improvement in Augment Therapy's technology that you are particularly excited about?
Yeah, so augmented reality is an ever-evolving technology. When we first started the company, we were using Microsoft Kinect devices because that was the best that was out there. Then Apple came out with the LiDAR technology, which really improved our game. And now AI and visual recognition has improved so much that we were able to move in that direction. It does a way better job of monitoring the skeletons, which is important. A lot of our patients need a caregiver with them. And so being able to figure out which skeleton is the right one is important. But it also allows us to do fingers. And people are like, fingers? But fingers are really important for occupational therapy. So think writing, picking up stuff. So being able to do finger movements is huge. And when we're talking about pediatric patients, a lot of their stuff is they do air writing. So they're writing the letters. And so we're able to project the letters on the screen and they can use their fingers to do the motion. So I'm really excited about the AI technology. It's just going to allow us to do so much more for our patients.
Is it also going to extend to drawing or like art of some sort?
Absolutely. We're moving into geriatrics as well. And so for them, we want to add a cognitive function. So we may have put these things in order. So they'd use their fingers to move things around in order. So they're working on their cognitive, but also their fine motor skills.
Extended reality is an emerging technology that includes VR and augmented reality AR and mixed reality MR. How do you see XR transforming the way we interact with the world around us?
There's a lot of interesting use cases with XR. Obviously, everybody thinks about gaming. That's where kind of XR started. I mentioned Augment Therapy. There's a lot of interesting use cases with healthcare, but I'm also intrigued by things like manufacturing and construction. I saw one of the vendors down there had AR goggles for construction where you can overlay data or schematics as you're looking at something, which would help with repairs. So there's a lot of interesting, more practical use cases that I think are the next step for XR.
Okay, and in what ways is your company planning to use it?
Yeah, Augment Therapy, we plan to continue to lean into augmented reality. We prefer not to use wearables, so headsets and that sort of thing, mainly because we're in the healthcare space and there's two challenges there. Infection control, which we know from a COVID standpoint is important, but also we work with sensitive populations, so people with autism or complex medical needs that don't want to have something on their face or on their body.
So how has your own experience as a cancer survivor influenced your perspective on the role of technology in healthcare?
When I went through cancer treatment, it really helped me understand the obstacles to healthcare. I felt like I was very lucky. I had strong insurance. I lived right down the road from the Cleveland Clinic, one of the best hospitals in the world, flexible job, all those good stuff. I spoke English, I had reliable transportation. Those are a lot of hurdles that most people don't have. And so we saw in the pandemic that there was a huge healthcare disparity from the haves and the have-nots. And so that's why I think digital health is so important, because it allows us to bridge that gap and bring healthcare into homes or where those folks live.
And is there some kind of government funding available for this? How does this happen?
Yeah. Obviously, different countries fund healthcare in different ways. In the United States, we're seeing a lot of interest from hospitals, but particularly from payers, so health insurance companies. They see an opportunity to reach vulnerable populations with augmented reality, virtual reality, digital health in general, as well as a way to reduce healthcare costs. A lot of the things around exercise and general well-being, they have outsized proportions in terms of the outcomes versus the amount spent to implement them.
So in your profile, you've also indicated that you're passionate about diversity and inclusion. How do you incorporate these values into your work, and have you seen any positive impacts as a result?
I'm a big believer in that you can't be what you can't see. And when I was early in my career as an engineer, there wasn't a lot of women engineers to look up to. And so I kind of floundered in those early years because I didn't know what to do or where to go, and I didn't feel like I was included. So now that I'm further along in my career, I think it's really important for me to show up and show everybody where I'm at, so that people earlier in their career can see, hey, I can be a diverse person and have a career in technology.
So you've worked with various companies throughout your career. What do you think are the benefits and challenges of working in different environments, and how do you adapt your leadership style to different cultures?
Big companies have really interesting things, and they also have big struggles. Same with small companies. With big companies, you really learn the importance of process and having set controls, but you can also be hindered by the big behemoth of the corporation. Small companies, you learn to be creative and nimble, but sometimes you wish you had a little bit more process. So being at different companies of different sizes and different flavors has allowed me to stretch as a leader and develop new skills.
And do you find it easier working in the phase you are in or your previous companies? What do you think challenges you the most?
I love working in startups because it's crazy. Every day is different. You definitely are learning stuff on the fly. Certainly there's days where I wish there was somebody else to handle that, a marketing department or, some other operational department. In the startup, everyone does everything. But I'd say all in all, startups are incredible fun.
So what are your thoughts on the sudden boom of AI tools like ChatGPT and now Google's introduction of Bard? Do you believe that AI will be the future or that the craze will soon fade out? And how can it be used for healthcare, for instance?
My only surprise about ChatGPT is that everyone's surprised about it. Like, I feel like we've already been on this trajectory. This was an interesting use case that caught a lot of people's attention. For AI to be smart and useful, you need processing power, you need smart algorithms, and you need training data sets. And all three of those have been advancing at a steady clip over the last couple of years. Certainly the chips are getting more powerful. They can do a lot more things efficiently. The algorithms, there's so many people working on doing interesting stuff there. And then we're just accumulating more and more data. For instance, ChatGPT needed a lot of human interaction, human voice, human written word to be smart, and they've been accumulating that. So it's kind of all of it's coming together. We're just getting started with AI.
All right, so the last question for you is of a personal kind. What would you be doing in your life if not this right now?
It's so hard to say because I really enjoy working in tech. Ever since I was a little girl with my Commodore 128, which I'm dating myself, I've really just enjoyed whatever the next big thing is. And I love working in emerging tech because it's full of possibilities. So other than being, retired living in the mountains, I love what I'm doing.